Welcome back to the Peanut Podcast. I'm Ashton Pellom, and as always, I'm joined by my brilliant co-host, Lauren Highfill Williams.
Hey Ashton, I hope you're ready to get techie because today's episode is all about artificial intelligence, what it means for agriculture, and yes, even for our beloved peanuts.
That's right, Lauren. AI is everywhere, your phone, your car, even your music playlist. But how is it transforming farming?
We had the chance to speak with two incredible experts, Alina Piddubna, Delivery Director at Intellis, and Dr. Simmer Virk, Associate Professor at Auburn University. They broke down how AI is shaping agriculture and what the future could look like. Let's jump right into it.
So when we speak about AI application in agriculture, we sometimes may imagine some virtual assistant or maybe some magic happening in the fields or inside the greenhouses or whatever. In reality, this is making use of the data, which is abundant in case if we have necessary infrastructure. A lot of data is available about the crops, about the livestock, and AI is empowering farmers and growers to make use of this data in a way that it helps grow the crops in a more efficient manner, reduce losses, increase yields. So it's about empowering farmers to make data-driven decisions based on their crop needs.
I love how Alina breaks down the mystique around AI. It's not some wizardry. It's all about using the wealth of data already available to make smarter, faster decisions.
Exactly. And as Alina explained, this involves integration tools like IoT devices. Those are sensors that collect data on soil conditions, moisture, and crop growth, and using machine learning to generate real-time insights.
And this isn't just theoretical. Alina shared real-world examples, like a poultry farm project in the US, where AI is used to predict animal health conditions, and a European crop farm initiative using AI to tailor recommendations to each individual farm.
We have a client who targets crop farms in the European Union, and they have a set of applications delivering insights to each farmer. It's a great tool. When they came to us, they lacked personalization because their models, their artificial intelligence models were trained on more generic data. And what we help is organize, with the help of the data hub, organize training the models on specific data for each farm. So working with each farmer, working with the target customers of this client, to train models specifically onto the needs of each farm, because that's a big problem for agri-tech providers, that the recommendations which are currently given by modern applications, they are sometimes, not even sometimes, in many cases are of little relevancy, because for example, in the European Union there is a huge difference between even some kilometers between farms because of the land and because of the countries. So, for example, a farmer across the border from France to Germany, they can live in a little bit different conditions, even though they grow the same apples, for example. So that's what we do for agri-tech provider. It's to embed personalization into their applications. And what's important also, if you're speaking about European Union clients, it's the European Union AI Act. Maybe you have heard about it. So we are embedding also responsible AI measures. So these are features which ensure compliance with strict regulations of the European Union, data privacy, transparency, and ethical AI usage, of course. And by the way, demonstrating compliance, this can increase trust of the farmers as well. I believe that for peanut industry, this feature will be relevant.
It's clear AI has a ton of potential for peanuts, but what stood out to me was Alina's emphasis on trust.
Yes, she mentioned farmers' concern about whether they can rely on AI recommendations. Her advice? Attend local demo days or conferences to see AI in action. It's all about seeing the results firsthand.
So the potential for peanuts in AI is enormous. Speaking of potential, our second guest, Dr. Simmer Virk from Auburn University, dove into how AI is used in precision agriculture.
Simmer had some great examples, like an app that identifies weeds using your phone's camera.
To describe what it is, basically, I would take it just a simple example. I even use sometimes in my presentations or even sometimes teaching students, think about us having a mobile app on our phone that can detect, it's actually called Weed ID, that can detect weeds. So what the background of the app is, they have taken the pictures of all the different weeds and it's sitting there as a data library, right, in the background. And then on the front end, if you take your phone, go to your garden right next to your house or wherever, and you see a weed or something, you open the camera and the app and it scans it. It tells you what species it could be or what type of weed that is, right? So in a sense, it's using artificial intelligence in a way, right, to tell us what that weed is. Now that's just a simple example, but basically, again, AI is in the background is this where we have done the work of taking a big data set to train a model on detecting certain, that could be features, characterization, or any sort of things that it could be doing, whether that's identifying a weed or a plant or even performing a certain function, right? Like the chat feature or the chat GPT, when we give it a command, it does a certain function, but in the background, there's an algorithm running. And basically we call it a machine learning algorithm, which means it's been trained to look in certain places or databases for information that we're requesting it to do.
Dr. Virk's weed app analogy is so relatable. Who wouldn't want a personal plant detective in their pocket?
And that's just scratching the surface. He highlighted tools like John Deere's See and Spray system, which uses AI to target weeds specifically, reducing pesticide use up to 70%.
That's a huge leap in sustainability. But what about peanuts?
Good question, Lauren. Dr. Virk gives his take.
One thing I would say, and I take example of this for any precision ag technology, when most of these technologies and even including AI systems and all that are being developed and tested, peanuts are definitely not the first crop, right? It's mostly, I'd mostly call like, corn and beans are probably like the biggest ones because again of the revenue and everything. So even us being in the Southeast, most of my work, even on precision ag, is how can we take some of the precision ag technologies or even practices and implement them into some of our local cropping, more prevalent local cropping systems, peanuts and cotton and stuff like that, right? So if you ask me, are there systems, commercial systems that are ready for peanuts and all that? No, not yet, right? Even the John Deere See and Spray system, in a way, it's got so it's a crop specific system, right? You actually have to for their if you want to spray within the crop. So they have it for corn, soybean, and cotton, but not yet for peanut, right? So what couple of the projects we're working on is something like a site-specific or targeted spray applications for peanuts, similar way. Right now, we were initially just testing the feasibility of, we collected the data, with a UAV or a drone, and then we know where the weeds are present. And then we were creating a map out of that and putting it in the sprayer and go only spray where the weeds are. So we're kind of technically only spraying the areas where the weeds are, trying to simulate or emulate like a see and spray in a way. But our goal is down the road, if we have cameras mounted on the boom and they can detect the weeds, when we spray this, the earlier the goal is just to find out, does this system work in peanut production or not, right? Can we go and only spray the weeds and we still have same type of weed control and no other issues and stuff like that, right? So that's just one application. Other one we were working, I'm going to continue that project here. I was doing a good bit of this stuff at University of Georgia. Very recently moved to Auburn University, so trying to get some of this stuff back up going, but that would be a next year now in a way. But other project we're kind of working on is there's a company out there commercialized called FarmWave, but their product is on the harvest equipment, especially on a combine. So they have these cameras that gets mounted on the back of the combine and one or two on the header, and they're measuring loss that's happening, grain loss that's happening in real time, right? As you harvest. And the whole reason is that the combine settings and other things can affect how much loss you have. And our goal is that if we have put all this time and effort and inputs into growing a crop, we want to harvest the most crop possible out of the field, right? So those cameras are taking images in real time, and there's an algorithm built into that's telling you how many bushels of corn or beans are you losing on the ground, and even putting a dollar value. Hey, you just missed $10. There was $10 loss happening right here, right? So the grower can be a little bit more cautious about putting a little bit more effort in adjusting their combine or changing some settings and stuff like that, right? So we started working with the company with the interest, kind of entrusting them like, hey, this is a big issue in peanuts because of the field conditions, the pods come off the, vines and all that. And actually when the guys came and visited, they're like, this field's already being harvested. And I'm like, yeah, there's like so many pods on the ground. I'm like, exactly, that's the point. So we kind of entrusted them in a way to like, hey, can we use this AI system to detect peanut loss that's happening as we harvest, right? So we're kind of working on a few of these projects. They're working with us. They're kind of making their own models that are more suitable for peanut. Of course, there are challenges, I'm pretty sure you have seen peanut harvest. There's a lot of dusty environment, big cloud dust, all that. So kind of changing the camera locations and stuff like that. But that is kind of our goal, especially also we do not have a yield monitor for peanuts. So this could be a technology that can really help us minimize the harvest losses that are being happening in, as we harvest.
It sounds like peanuts are on the horizon, but there's still work to be done.
Absolutely. Both guests stress that infrastructure is key to making these advancements accessible.
The brave early adopters who experiment with AI are paving the way for others.
It's such a fast developing field, that we're gonna see more and more applications of it in agriculture, sometimes without even realizing that it's being used, in the background a lot for a lot of things that that may not be very intuitive at the first light, but in the background it's doing its functions, right? So it's definitely, it's not something, I don't know what would be a good word, that don't exist yet or 5 years out. It's actually a real part of agriculture today, and we're probably going to see more and more of it.
If we speak about the future, that's always the matter about what is the infrastructure the farmers have today. Because if we want to have a good use of AI in the future, we need to create a basis already nowadays. So AI is already transforming agriculture in the sectors where there is strong infrastructure, and precision farming is a very good example of where AI can be applied. So different AI-driven systems, but they are useful, but they should be combined with IoT devices, for example, the sensors which can help collect the data. And the combination of AI and IoT devices and can deliver real-time insights, for example, into soil conditions, moisture levels, crop growth. So when you apply ML models, that's what exactly creates prediction and can help farmers make better decisions. I would just like to add that I appreciate and admire all the people who are brave enough to experiment with modern technology, because this is what drives the real implementation of innovation in practice. There can be a lot of collaborations in the universities, initiatives from the government, but it all real in practice starts from you, from those who are doing this in practice and creating great cases for demonstrations as well. So big hugs to you who are brave enough to use this technology, and just start small. For those who are thinking about it, start small, make a small experiment. Do not put all the eggs into one basket, and you will see. You will see a significant difference in production, in productiveness. Just experiment, and I'm sure that this will become a common way of practice maybe in the next 5 or 10 years.
What a great message to close on. AI in agriculture isn't just about machines. It's about empowering farmers and driving innovation from the ground up.
That's right, Lauren. And for peanut farmers, the possibilities are exciting. Whether it's soil sensors, drones, or customized AI models, the tools are evolving to meet their unique needs.
Thanks to Alina and Dr. Virk for sharing their insights. If you're interested in learning more about the topic of AI in agriculture, check out our show notes with events and resources from Dr. Virk. But you know what, Ashton? I think it's time for our peanut-related trivia question.
Ooh, Lauren, I love a good trivia question. All right, listeners, here's your question. What's the furthest a peanut has ever been thrown? Think about it for a second. Is it A, 50 feet, B, 75 feet, or C, 124 feet?
Wow, that's a tough one. How far the furthest peanut has ever been thrown? Okay, let's reveal. The answer is C, 124.4 feet to be exact.
Wow, that is a long distance to throw a peanut, Lauren.
Absolutely.
For the National Peanut Board, I'm Ashton Pellom. Our show's engineer and sound designer is NextGen. We also like to note that our guest segments may be edited for length and clarity and to comply with USDA guidelines.
I'm Lauren Highfill Williams, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on the platform you're listening on. And if you would like to find out more about what we've talked about today, then go to www.nationalpeanutboard.org/podcast. Thanks for listening to the Peanut Podcast. Until next time, stay nutty.